Hello and karibu to Udaku Pro Max, where these ladies and myself have the truest and realest versions of our experiences we've had in relationships. So this is where we talk about controversial topics behind closed doors, and we don't care what you're gonna say about it. Hey men, especially, we don't care what you're gonna say about it. And with me, I know you're wondering who these lovely ladies are. To my right is Damaris. Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hi viewers, my name is Damaris Kaluki, a financial advisor and a journalist by profession. Glad to be here. Asante sana for having me on board. You too, Mama. Thank you.
I love the pals. I mean, they're so classy.
I mean, you have to look classy, like
it gives
Sakina herself.
Oh yeah, it gives me that vibe of je ne sais quoi.
I know.
Like it's so appealing. I cannot even describe it.
Oh my gosh! Thank you.
And Khadija right here.
Hi guys,
you're looking amazing. Can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, I want to introduce myself so badly. Hi guys, my name is Hadija Asman. I'm a travel agent and also a makeup artist by profession.
Hey, you're looking lovely.
Yeah, and I'm here with my lovely ladies, and we're here to bring you men down. No, actually, just here to talk about relationships and everything relationship. You ladies are looking good.
You
Thank
as
you.
well. We love the green. Are we like color coordinating or what?
Yeah,
apparently.
And why is she doing the rainbow? Like I'm curious to know. Like seriously,
I'm straight. Like I'm so straight. I just love colors.
You just love colors, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so
and
much.
the topic for the day is the obvious red flags that women choose to ignore. Of course, when you start dating a guy, the first date you go on, or the second date or the third date, you notice that there's these red flags that you notice. And there are situations where ladies choose to ignore it, and years later they tell you, I saw the red flags, but you know, I just wanted to date him, you know, maybe because he had money, he had connections and all that. So what are the obvious red flags that women choose to ignore? I'll start with you, Khadija.
The obvious red flags I personally choose to ignore is that how a guy looks. Like it can be a red flag.
Looks as in how?
How a guy looks, like the appearance, the light skin guys. I choose to ignore the other red flags and just focus on that.
Oh, okay. So you mean to say that light-skinned guys have more red flags?
They have.
More than dark-skinned guys?
More than dark-skinned.
But I've heard that a lot. So tell us more about that. We know you're experienced in that.
Okay, that's experience.
I feel like the light-skinned guys, they behave like they're in this world alone. Wako kwa hii dunia hao peke yao. You see how light-skinned ladies, they feel like they are beautiful, even though sometimes they're not beautiful. I'm sorry to say that if you feel bruised somewhere.
I am.
Are you bruised?
Yes.
Why? But you don't feel
because
like
we're here to diss men. We're not here to diss Sakina.
I mean, you're not only the brown lady out here.
All right, sawa.
Okay, so these light-skinned guys, they feel like they own the world. And they feel like they can get away with anything.
True.
Because once they enter, or once you see them, it's like, oh wow, they look nice. Yeah, and you'll more focus on that, their looks, than how they treat you.
Also, you choose to ignore the character that you've been warned about.
I choose to ignore the other red flags that they have and just focus on their appearance.
Honestly, guys, you see the memes about light-skinned guys. Hey, it's so funny. I saw one that name vua what dark-skinned guys are doing. Kuna mwenye akona baka kabesheni ameweka hapo nde mahali si flood. What a light-skinned guy is doing, akona ka blanket TV na hot chocolate watching Netflix. I'm like, that is so true.
Okay.
Yeah, those
that is so
people
true.
They are full of themselves. Yeah, they are really full of themselves.
All right.
And they have a million of red flags.
Okay.
Millions that you can choose. For the fact that I have a weakness for them.
It's nice that you admit it, you know.
It's true, I ignore the other red flags.
All right. So what about you, Damaris? What's the red flag that you choose to ignore?
But I feel, Khadija, you've really generalized the red flags. Like being a light-skinned guy, he's an automatic red flag. I feel it's not every light-skinned guy who has, you know, who has those bad characters per se. Because I feel one of the most commonly ignored red flags by most people is patterns of abuse by guys. We choose to ignore patterns of abuse, like a guy can actually emotionally abuse you, and that happens a lot, a lot. Yeah, you'll find guys are not abusive physically, which is mostly, you know, not termed as abuse, but then you'll find you're living with a guy who actually emotionally drains you. That's actually an abuse that a lot of women are ignoring. An abuse where a guy comes and starts telling you personally, I'm a victim of emotional abuse,
Oh,
and not physical, yeah, but emotional abuse is something that you should run away from.
Like a guy tells you, I need to dark skin for me, or today you have a tummy, or today you, I don't like how you look today.
Not really, not really. I feel emotional it's more of an emotional blackmail. Something is not happening, something is not right to the guy's side, and then they start blaming it on you. Okay, my things are not working because of you. You know, this is not. You can't. They put their insecurities on you. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. You know, I don't like how you do this. Emotionally just draining you, putting the insecurities on you, draining you. Actually, this is not happening because of you. This is not doing this. I mean, where were you? Where were you?
I mean, mine, I feel like you've said yours and you said yours. I think mine, come to think of it, I never even thought of this way. But I think mine, the red flags that I choose to ignore is a lack of commitment. Yes. A guy would postpone doing serious things with you, taking things to the next step, and you're like, okay, let me just wait. Maybe he's not ready. Let me just wait. Maybe his family is judgmental. Let me just wait. I mean, you start giving yourself excuses in your mind.
Yeah.
And this person is dating you for years. He's wasting your time. The one thing I would give it up to Muslim guys is Muslim guys know when to put a ring on it. I've heard of Muslim guys who don't even go for more than a year when they date you. They don't. Majority of Muslim guys actually. Because they get the pressure from the family, they get the pressure from their mothers. They're like, hey, this whatever you're doing is haram. You need to put a ring on it and all that. So I feel like that's one of the red flags I ignore. When somebody is failing to commit, and now here you are, you're giving yourself excuses. And years are passing by, months are passing by. He's wasting your time. You're growing older because as a woman, we don't age with age. We don't grace with age like men. You know, for me, I find men look better even when they are older, and they are more successful when they are older. For women, it's the total reverse. You know, time passes and unashura. You're deteriorating, like seriously. For me, I think that is the biggest red flag that I choose to ignore. And I think for any lady out there who chooses to ignore such a red flag, don't, honey. If that guy goes for more than a year, put a stop to it. Because more than a year is enough time for him to know you. Does not mean that he needs more time to know you better. Especially if you choose to live with him under the same roof. There's an even bigger mistake, because you're giving this guy more time to become laid back with you. So because you're an automatic wife, unamfulia, unampikia, unamwoshea, you're even cleaning his boxers. So what else are you saving for the marriage? You know, so automatically you become that safe girlfriend. Do you understand? Have you heard that word? The safe girlfriend. Like, let me stick with this one as I look for my dream wife. And it's screwed up, because I think not only me, but so many ladies out there choose to ignore that.
True. Can I add something on that? The fact that you choose to ignore your commitment. Inafika mahali you are blaming yourself for things, or you are trying to play safe. Maybe because you are brought up in a way that you can treat a man in such a manner so that they see you as a wife material. So you want to be that housewife. You want to be that wife to a boy who's not even ready to be a husband.
Very true. Yeah.
So we want to commit where there is no commitment. And you can kuonyesha hata ukimuuliza zile questions za where do you want to be in the next, like, even a week? You're
not even in the picture.
You're not even in the picture. If you tell him, do you want to have kids? Do you want to have this? And you mtu anakuonyesha, mi sitaki kid.
Because you know, one thing I understand about men, I think even men who are listening to this can actually agree to this. When a man meets a woman, it takes seconds to know if this is my wife or not. I feel like that is the one thing they know, and they choose to hide from us. They meet you and they know automatically, am I ever going to settle down with this woman? No.
Men know
they know.
Thank you very much.
When they are playing around with you, they know this I am not going to know. And there you are so submissive, you are so committed, you are treating him like your husband, and this guy knows, nani.
So in that particular juncture, what do we advise ladies to do? Because I know it's very hard to break that bond, to break that commitment, and to break that tie. Because the one thing I will actually lean on is my religion. As I grew older, you know, when I was younger, I was like, hey, the Islamic kuna utiaji, hey, you can't date, you can't nini, and all that. You know, even actually in Islam, dating is haram. You're not supposed to date. And when you go on a date, you actually have somebody to accompany you. You know, you cannot be in the same room alone with that guy. So me, I was like, isn't that too much? But the older I get, the more I understand that that rule that God came up with was to protect that woman. Because these people can be emotionally manipulative. Do you understand? So you would waste your time with that person. As I said earlier, kumbe akona ka dream girl. When I get money, I will look for someone who looks like Beyonce. Nitafute bibi anakaa Kim Kardashian. Na wewe uko hapo unaosha kweli na dira yako umevaa na matuto unampikia ugali. Kumbe kuna mtu hapa akona dream girl somewhere.
Can I say something on what you can do about men when you unaona red flag yake and you're trying to ignore? One thing I go with, and I will always go with that. Do not let your boyfriend stop you from getting your husband. Do not.
Wow.
Okay.
No matter what.
That quote is amazing.
No matter what.
Yeah,
could you make that the next caption? Everyone listening to this, come on, go to your Instagram. Make that.
Hata kuonyesha aje unaona unajaribu kujiconvince like this. No, go out there. Stop. Wacha kujieka hapo hivyo this man amekuweka in a position huwezi enda nje. Kwanza those insecure men mwenye akijua they don't have anything to offer, they offer insecurities. Ukitoka nje kidogo, what are you doing out there? Ukitoka nje kidogo umeenda na nani, ukirudi they check your phone. And you're not showing me that you want to be a potential husband to no, honey, you're not going to stop me. So you better ignore those red flags. And sometimes I even tell young ladies, maybe this thing of kuandika chini what you want from a guy. You are a dream man. Maybe I will write them down. I will still write them down. Because these men will waste your time. They will really waste your time as you're ignoring those red flags.
Instead of writing, why don't you talk it out to that guy? Once you meet this guy, you put your points down. This is what I'm looking in a man. Are you ready to offer this?
Put them outside there, but remember, unaweza kutana na mtu kwa date, ukamwambia, I'm looking for this type of a man. He will pretend to be that man.
You're able to actually to see it. You cannot pretend. There are things you cannot pretend. I'm telling you.
Wow, guys, listen. There's this when you talked about writing it down. I remember this. This stand-up comedian who said when women are younger, when they're in their 20s and all that, they'll be like, they come up with a whole list of how they really want their man to be made in the lab. So the older they get, the older they get, inafika mahali B and B, bwana ni bwana.
It gets there.
The list gets there. But it's actually good. I think it's a good thing.
Bwana ni bwana until you find yourself in a relationship where you can't get out.
I feel we're already out of that era of writing points down. We're in an era where you sit with a guy, share your expectations, let him share his expectations. You cannot hide honestly these things. In a relationship, you're able to tell the kind of man. Holding a conversation 30 minutes, you're able to read from A to Z.
And also,
that's where now we're coming to ignoring red flags. You're able to realize this man is controlling from how he talks.
Thank you.
He'll tell you, I don't want you to associate with these people. He's already cutting your social circle.
Thank you.
He's cutting your friends, you from your friends, even cutting you off from your relatives. That's already a red flag.
That brings
dress this way, dress that way.
That brings me to a point where I've experienced this actually. The red flags you choose to ignore. For instance, you're dating somebody, you feel like, oh, this person has money, can potentially change my life and all that. So you choose to ignore the ignorance, the arrogance, the pride, the condescending nature. For instance, you walk with that man in a restaurant and the first thing he does is belittles the waiters. You know, or maybe talks rude to maybe a driver or something. Maybe he has a driver, talks rude to the driver. Or this certain things that he does to other human beings who feels and believes are downtrodden. You know, automatically should tell you. There's a time in life that this person will think you're also downtrodden and will look down upon you and will disrespect you and humiliate you. And that's the one thing women choose to ignore. When a man has money, when a man has position and power, they'll be like, achana na yeye afanyie tu watch money, bora mimi naishi kwa mansion. Don't you realize that this man is going to do the same to you? So it's another red flag that you choose to ignore, you know?
We all agree that a man with money, too much money is a red flag.
Not always.
I have to
always.
not
Not always.
Just talking.
I mean, it's not everyone who has money who is ignorant.
Yeah.
There are people who are actually brought up. I think also upbringing plays a major role. Utapata wase wenye wamegrow kwa mado. You know, it's nothing. But you'll find people who have struggled. They know what it feels like not to have. And you'll find these people even in areas of power and money, they're still respectful. Yeah, because arrogance comes with power and money.
Guys.
But you'll still find guys who have money and you know you'll never even know.
Don't
Utatoka pale,
associate,
you look richer than him. Amevaa kinyasa na Crocs. Wewe umedunga zile.
But don't associate arrogance with richness. There are
Yes.
poor arrogant people out here.
True.
Out here just arrogant.
And you know, somebody who actually understands that whatever I have right now is very temporary and is given to me by God and is automatically going to be taken away by God.
Yeah.
Do not underestimate poor people who are arrogant. I've seen, I've observed, I've witnessed. Poor people who are very arrogant.
Majority.
He walks in a room and wants to own the place and wants to look down upon and anataka kukanyagia kila mtu. So at the end of the day, let's not dismiss men who have money here, please, and say that they are all arrogant.
Not a...
Yeah, so
yeah.
so Khadija, what's another red flag?
Another red flag I feel like as women we choose to ignore is men's phones.
Ooh, interesting.
And that's a pure red flag. Why are you ignoring that phone? Mbona una ignore you?
Sorora.
Take that phone.
Sorora.
My dear, usiku si wakati wa kulala. Pitia hiyo simu. I'm telling you, you will choose to ignore. Ati mimi sitaki kupitia simu yake, you know, I trust
kama
my
iko na
man.
password ya fingerprint.
A woman is the greatest DCI. I feel like women should be DCI.
I think ndio.
Because mimi, no matter what kind of person.
Unachukua kidole unaweka kwa
Wacha hata ya kidole
Sensor.
kuja na ile umeweka pattern hivi. I'll choose and you will get it.
hey.
I don't care.
So we don't think, let's not, so in other words you're telling women not to ignore their phones.
Don't ignore. Kwanza ule mwenye anakuja na kuwekea hapo ati open, ati haina password. Ati anajua ukiweka hapo open.
Huyu ako na simu ingine.
Mimi hata huyo ako na password. Tutafungua.
Heri huyo mwenye ako na password, by the way, let me tell you. Another red flag. Umeona huyo mwenye anakuachia ati babe, you're me and you, we share the phone, we don't say, hey, there's another phone that's left in the car.
I tell you.
Ama kwa ofisi, kuna simu ingine enda tafute kwa ofisi kama ni DCI.
Yeah, pattern.
What you need.
Yeah.
Napata you
Even me.
mtu almost 3 years, 5 years. Na kumbe he also has a family somewhere in that.
Ati my wife never touches my phone. What is that? I don't support that thing. Your phone is my phone. I will touch it.
Wow.
Where are you hiding? Because a lot of people they say ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. You ignore, you die. Ignore and die. I mean, yeah, people die because of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
This man has been cheating. You don't know and you don't want to find out. Find out.
You've seen
Yeah, you can't wait.
This is wanafanya YouTube the inaitanga what is the name? Kuna hii yenye wana search couples phones kwa streets. Unapata mtu amekana mtu like I trusted you. Like how could you do this? Mtu amekuhusia time, amekuzalisha watoto ama amekutoanisha, umeabort almost 10 times just because you choose to ignore, you love this man, you choose to ignore that phone. It carries a lot.
Yeah.
So it's
Another red flag, yes guys, another red flag we choose to ignore. A man talking shit about his ex. Like ile extremely shit, ile anaongea matope, anakufunulia machafu za huyo ex, anakufunulia masiri. What tells you you're special? What tells you you have 3 breasts? Not unless God created you with 3 breasts maybe. What tells you you're going to get away with that? At the end of the day, that woman who's being talked about was once the lover or the wife or the girlfriend.
Yeah,
so you are in the same position. In the event that you break up, what do you think is going to happen to you? So that's another red flag we choose to ignore. You're like, unajidanganya ati, hey, it seems like me I'm better than the ex. Better where?
Yeah.
I am telling you, women, stop. Do not encourage this man talking shit about their ex.
Yeah.
Hapo ndo unasema mimi nakataa kwa sababu it's not even it's even awkward for us to talk about that woman.
Yeah.
Are you not over her to begin with?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So that's another red flag we choose to ignore. Yeah.
I feel another red flag that we choose to ignore is actually being with a man who cannot compromise for you.
Yeah.
You find that ladies will compromise a lot. Would sacrifice not to do this to create time.
Yeah.
And then there's this guy who can never. And especially like me, by the me, nasiko baya, me na wase wafuta, I can't. You see these guys, I've actually questioned a guy who's a die-hard football fan. If I was your wife and I'm in labor, and nile mechi, hizi mamachi mechi wanaendanga kuwatch huku FIFA. This guy was like, I will still watch football hapo nje.
And I watch.
And I'll still watch football hapo nje. Si ati anacheza. Me by them and football guys, I don't.
Oh,
I don't. The die-hard fans.
Hey, but they even kill themselves. Team.
Can you imagine?
Unasikia mtu amecommit suicide.
Yeah.
That's another red flag ukweli. Yeah, so guys, before we wrap up, any other message you'd like to give? I live that message. I will repeat it to our viewers.
Do not ever in your life let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband.
Okay.
Amekupeleka wapi, don't. You're also on a hunt. You're also on a hunt. So usione mwenye umepata you're like umefika. So then umefika kumbe ndo umefikishwa.
So Damaris, final remarks to our viewers.
All right, for me, I'll say, ladies, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Don't be fooled by money. Yeah, be wise. Know what you want. Size any time ya kushare. Tell this man this is what I want in a man. What value are you coming to add in my life? This is what I'm bringing on the table. I mean, size it long ago in times zenye mlikuwa mnacheza cheza. Size ni putting things straight on the table. This is what I expect from you. What do you expect from me? Yeah, na tuache kuwa ignorant of all these red flags that we see for the sake of, just wanting people to know I have a boyfriend, doing things for the gram, cloud chasing, gram, Instagram, sijui boyfriend. People are suffering out there.
People are hurting.
Suffering.
I'm guilty.
Of doing that?
You're guilty.
You're guilty of so many things. You able stop.
It is well. Tujipende. That's my, yeah.
All right. So ladies, thank you very much for gracing with your amazing presence. I love it and I adore you. And I love the fact that you guys open up and show your vulnerability to our audience. Asanteni sana. Kwa muda ku promise signing out.
Thank you.